Hi everyone, good morning. It's Rachel here at That's the Diet. Welcome to day, what day are we on? 17th of December today? Yes. Welcome to day 17 of No Diet December. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the podcast, wherever you are watching or listening to this video or audio. I appreciate you. Thanks for being with me for this long, for sticking it out. 17 days, that's pretty impressive. Today I am going to talk about something a bit different. Like I said yesterday, this week's going to be a bit different. I'm going to cover some slightly different topics, I suppose. And this morning I wanted to talk to you about a topic that's quite close to the bone for me. So if I'm stumbling over my words, then you know why. So at this time, I actually really struggle at this time of year. I love Christmas, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy Christmas. I wouldn't say I love Christmas. I really enjoy Christmas. I actually prefer New Year. I really like New Year. But it is a time of year where it can be extremely difficult for lots of different people. And I'm just going to draw on my experience of not just Christmas, but other parts of life as well. It can be quite difficult because there's this sort of unwritten expectation that you should be feeling happy and merry and bright, and that you should be sort of buying presents for your family and your friends and sending cards and taking the kids to go and see Santa, and doing all these things with the kids and all that kind of stuff. And there's this kind of unwritten sort of, expectation that the world puts upon us, or that we put on ourselves based on what we think that we should do. And there's also, on the other hand, people who are on their own at Christmas time. And having spent a lot of time on my own sort of in life, like I get how that feels. I went travelling on my own a couple of years ago. Actually, it was this time 2 years ago, and I was away for 2 months, and towards the end I felt really, really lonely. And I would see pictures of people like on social media, like with their family and their friends, and I'd feel really jealous of that. And I think if you're on your own at Christmas time, then I kind of can understand how that feels in a way, especially when you're bombarded with social media every single day. You see people don't post the crap stuff. People don't post on Facebook and Instagram that they had a total meltdown in the morning because they were worried that they wouldn't be able to afford to buy food at Christmas time, or you didn't see someone have a panic attack over being alone at Christmas, and you don't see all that kind of stuff on Facebook. But what you do see is photographs of families going out, doing this, doing that, drinking, buying presents, families all wearing matching clothes, and that's great. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a Scrooge by any means. Like, I absolutely adore seeing people happy at this time of year. Like, it really is. I really love it. But I also do struggle with lots of things at Christmas. There are also people who have maybe lost a family member this year, or even recently, or even not recently. I lost my dad. It'll be 11 years ago next year. And it's if you've ever lost a family member or a friend or someone that's really close to you, and they played a big part in Christmas and New Year sort of celebrations, then you'll understand that this time of year can be quite challenging as well. And I always say, I'm not sitting here on a pedestal telling you what I think that you should do. And I'm no psychologist, trust me. If I was, my mental health would probably be a lot better. But there are certain things like that I do that make me feel better when I'm feeling a bit low at this time of year. So loneliness, worry, stress, anxiety, all sorts of things, because, you know, if we all were honest with ourselves, I can probably say that most people that are watching this video or listening to this podcast have dealt with feelings of inadequacy at this time of year, stress, anxiety, worry, as well as all the other good stuff as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that there is not good stuff as well. And it can be really challenging. So I'm just going to give you like 2 or 3 things that I do personally that I feel help me. And I'm not saying that they help me all the time, but they help me some of the time. And tomorrow I'm going to share a bunch of ideas for you if you are feeling a bit stressed out, that come from our community. So this morning I posted in our How to Quit Dieting community on Facebook and asked everyone to share their ideas on how they sort of reduce stress and anxiety at this time of year. So tomorrow I'll share theirs. Today I'm going to share mine. So my number one thing for you to do, if you are feeling in any way stressed, anxious, worried, tired, exhausted, and just not feeling it, is to, and please, honestly, this is so hard, but releasing the expectation that you put on yourself to be a certain way, to look a certain way, to do certain things. Have a look at your list, your to-do list, and what's on it, and see if there's anything that you can just get rid of. See if there's anything that really doesn't need to be done, if you know what I mean. See if there's anything on there that you could sort of either delegate to someone else or just not do it, because a lot of the things on your to-do list at the moment will be there because of an expectation that you've put on yourself that you should do something, or that that maybe an expectation that someone else has put on you that you should be doing something, or maybe it's just this time of year you feel that you should be doing some of these things. So have a look at your to-do list and see if there's anything on there that you can sort of release yourself from, I guess, in a way, so that things are a bit easier, and you don't put as much stress and as much pressure on yourself. Now I know that's easier said than done, but this morning I did actually have a look at the things that I had planned over the next few days next week, and there was a couple of things on there I thought, you know what, actually I'm just not going to do that, because it's in the back of my mind, it's great in the back of my mind, and I'm worried about what will happen if I don't do it. So I thought, do you know what, I'm just going to scrub them off my to-do list, and it actually feels quite good. Be kind to yourself. Again, I feel like a bit pot kettle black this morning, because these are things that I do try really hard to do, but I'm not always successful at it. But being kind to yourself is quite important, and sort of being self-aware and thinking about, you know, what is it that I need? Taking 5 minutes if you're feeling really stressed, and step back and think, right, what do I need right now to make me feel more comfortable, to make me feel better? And giving yourself that, whatever it is that you need, if it's 5 minutes to lie down, if it's to go out for a walk, if you just need some time on your own, if you can, you know, if you've got the luxury of that, and just thinking to yourself, okay, what is it that I need right now? What could I do that wouldn't take too long, that I could do that just makes me, you know, injects a bit of energy when you're feeling low. And then lastly, a couple of things I suppose, really, is exercise. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to go to the gym and like start slamming weights around or running on the treadmill for hours. But exercising does a couple of things. It gives your body a physiological release of hormones that make you feel a bit happier. It's scientific fact. And it also helps to boost your self-esteem as well. Now this can be anything from getting out of your house and going for a walk, to going to a fitness class or a dance class that you really enjoy. It can be going to the gym, if you haven't been very much recently. It can be just something to change what we call change your state. So if you're feeling low and you're feeling just like you're in a rut in your head, and there's lots of thoughts going round and round and round all the time, we call this changing your state. So getting up and doing something different, whether that's sticking on some music, getting up off your chair and having a wee dance in the kitchen, or actually getting out of your physical environment that you're in and going somewhere else and doing something else. So it does all of those things, and anybody can exercise. It's just about finding something that you can do that you're able to do, depending on what your limitations are and stuff. So those are the main things. The last thing I would say is just be kind to yourself in the nutrition department as well, and eat as well as you can. It supports your mental health. I wrote an article about this for my friend Fiona Thomas. I wrote a little short part for her book yesterday that's coming out next year about the benefits of eating healthily and nutritious food as much as you can to help your mental health as well. So it's really important. So look after yourself in as many ways as you can, and if that's just doing one thing to help you feel better, then do it. There's no need to feel guilty, but that's a whole other kettle of fish, feeling guilty about taking time for yourself. But just understanding that it is okay, like, to feel a bit rubbish at this time of year, because there's a lot of pressure. Like I said right at the beginning of this video/episode, there's a lot of pressure on us. A lot of pressure to be happy, to go out with friends, to do all these things. But what if you're feeling a bit rubbish? That's okay too. And hold on tight, because this time next week it'll nearly all be over and we can get back to normal life. That sounds really defeatist. I don't mean it like that. But just hold on, because everybody is going to be miserable in January. No, I'm just kidding. So thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode or video, if you're watching on Facebook, then please leave a comment and share it with anyone who you feel might benefit from listening or watching. It's a good time of year. I like Christmas, but I find it really challenging mentally. And I know that you do too. So that's why I wanted to do this morning. Because no matter how happy everyone's lives look on social media, it's not always like that. And I want you to know that if you feel like shit, then you're allowed to feel like shit. But there are things that you can do and should do to change your state and help yourself out. Be kind to yourself.